Hello, welcome to my messy workshop. Now, just under 2.5 years ago, I started doing some projects to get this place tidied and fit for purpose. All I managed to actually do was build a miter saw station. Now, this place is getting massively overcrowded. I've not got nowhere near enough storage. So in this video, I want to crack on and get a few of those essential jobs done and dusted so I can get back in here. Okay, so let's start in this corner over here. Now, I seem to have a bit of a habit of collecting lengths of wood and offcuts and storing them here, leaning against this bandsaw cart. The problem is, it makes getting into the garage workshop a little bit of a hassle, and oh, there he goes, a bit of a trip hazard. So to start off with, I need to sort out this bandsaw stand. Originally it was built to hold my pillar drill, and that is now on the miter saw station. It's no good having this bandsaw here because, well, look at the room I've got. I just cannot do anything. And as I said before, it just gets loads of wood stored against it. Now, most of this stuff on top of here doesn't have a home, so I need some drawers to pack some of this away. Right, so let's make a start on clearing this wood. Now I can get the bandsaw lifted off of this cart. The problem is it's going to have to stay on my workbench. I'm going to have to work around it. So with everything removed, this is what I'm left with, a nice big empty space. I'll give the floor a quick vacuum over. Then I can move in what I'm putting in its place. So I bought myself one of these roll cabs from Halfords. This is ideal. I could make something like this, but I had a voucher from work and it was just easier to buy this. Now it comes with this foam top, but that's no good for me because I want to put a tool on top of it. So some of that scrap MDF you saw, I'll cut some of that down on the track saw. The corners need a little angle cut into them so that it will fit on the top of the roll cab. Snug as a bug in a rug. So I'll give the top a quick sanding, and I'll go over the edges with a bit of hand sanding, and then I can get in the new tool I want to put on top. So I bought myself one of these oscillating spindle sanders. I'll be honest, I don't know how much I'll use this spindle sander, but it's a tool I've been wanting for a little while. I had been wondering where I could fit it into the workshop. It was really easy to assemble, and I like the fact that every accessory you get with this has a home built in on the tool. I'll probably still end up putting stuff in other places and cluttering it up. So that fits nicely on top of there. I will come back later on and paint the top that I made for this roll cab when I get the paint out. So that leaves us with the old cabinet. Now it was also a little bit too tall to have a bandsaw on it. The first thing though I want to change in them is these crappy caster wheels that I put on there. I've got these much heavier duty ones that have been hanging around. I did use them on another project. I can't think what it was off the top of my head. But they've been sat in a drawer for the past year and they will be perfect. They spin a hell of a lot better than the previous ones. So I'm just double checking the height I want to take off of this cart, and it actually lines up pretty close to the shelf. So I'll end up just cutting it down level with the shelf. But first of all, a bit of destruction, and I want to smash off these trim pieces. So now that I've already marked on the outside where the shelf is, it's just simple and I can follow that line along with the track saw. I didn't mark on the back of the cabinet because it's just a matter of lining the 2 saw blade marks up. Oops. Now one of the sides I cut happened to be perfectly flush with the shelf. However, the other side did stick up a little bit proud. No bother though, I just got the belt sander out and went to town getting it nice and flush. Beautiful. So this needs a new top as well. So using another piece of MDF, I got a top for that. And here I am with my set square. I'm just checking that the overhang is equal all the way across. I'm having to stand on my bench to put this top on. It didn't cross my mind I could easily lift the bench onto the floor and do this. Anyway, much more fun doing it this way. I just secured it in place with 4 screws, 1 in each corner. And one last thing is to give this car a quick sanding over before I can get the paint out and paint it with my usual charcoaly grey paint. So here we are, here's the finished cart. Nothing spectacular by any means, but it's a project that I've been meaning to do for a long time. On the other side of the cart, I put a few screws in it so I can hang me spare bandsaw blades onto it. Now I can check to see if it fits a gap, and this is actually the first time I've actually tried to make it fit. Well, I'm well happy with that. The bandsaw's now out of the way, and when I do want to use it, it's just a matter of rolling it out. Okay, so last project here, I've got this space at the end of my garage. This is the wall that the main garage door goes up against. And the plan here is to use this pile of scraps and offcuts to make a little shelving unit where I can house all my tins of spray grease, spray cleaner and containers of oil. Again, this project isn't going to be too fancy. It's just a matter of getting these things made so that things in my workshop have a home. And then once I've finished using them, they can bugger off back to their home and stop cluttering up my workspaces. So I finished cutting everything to length on the miter saw, and then the assembly of this is going to be really simple. It's just going to be a bit of glue, brad nails, and then once it dries I'll come back and put a couple of screws in either end of the shelf just to give it a bit of extra added strength. I don't think anything I'll be putting on here will be too heavy for the glue and brad nails, but I might as well just go to that extra effort of putting some screws in. Of course, don't forget to check that your shelf is square. Don't want things rolling off. I'll clamp it up and leave it for half hour for the glue to dry before I come back and do anything else. Now I'm going to add these other pieces that I cut out to the front of the shelf, and this is just to stop anything sliding off. All I'm going to do is just brad nail them in place. Oh yeah, and here's those screws that I put in the edge of the shelves. So after a bit of sanding and a lick of paint, this is a shelving unit. As I said, nothing spectacular. I'm going to use some of these impact driver bits to drill out the brickwork. And I put these extra stretchers on the back so I could drill through them and secure it to the wall with concrete screws. I managed to get everything I wanted to on there, and it's using an otherwise piece of dead space. There we go, that's the 3 projects. I will see you in the next one.